Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be talking about and ranking the Dio albums. Fantastic band, a lot of great classic material. 10 studio albums total that I'll be talking about today. Some more background for those of you who don't know. The band formed in 1982 after Ronnie James Dio and Vinny Appice left Black Sabbath. The rest of the complete lineup they had for the first few albums, you got Jimmy Bain on the bass, Vivian Campbell on guitar, so great lineup. Of course, Ronnie James Dio, one of the best singers of all time. Vinny's a great drummer, Jimmy's great on the bass, and Vivian Campbell, great guitarist. They've had amazing guitar players on all of the albums. You start with Vivian Campbell on the first few, Craig Goldie comes along, then you got Rowan Robertson, who's awesome, Tracy G throughout most of the 90s, Doug Aldrich came in there for the early 2000s, Craig Goldie came back, but yeah, just really awesome band. This is just my opinion, as usual, and I got some new shirts, if you notice here. Yeah, that's The Undertaker. He is a beast, but yeah, here we go. Starting off the list at the bottom is going to have to be Angry Machines. This album came out in 1996. Not terrible, but it is pretty much like universally thought of as the worst Dio album. I don't think it is as bad as some people act like it is, just not super memorable, kind of boring for a lot of it, but not terrible by any means. It's the last album with the guitarist Tracy G and the last album with Vinny Appice on the drums. But 10 songs, looking at these, you know, Don't Tell the Kids is pretty good. And another one that I think is alright is Golden Rules. But overall, don't really go back to it that much. Not a very strong album. Angry Machines, number 10. Next up at number 9, I'm going to go with Master of the Moon. This was their final album, came out in 2004. Pretty good, but with all the classics in this discography, got to be down at number 9. The lineup, you got Simon Wright on the drums, Scott Warren on keyboards, Jeff Pilson on the bass, Craig Goldie on guitar, and of course Ronnie James Dio on vocals. 10 songs, looking at this track listing, some pretty good ones. You know, Shivers is a great song, definitely my favorite on here. Really cool intro, and it gets to an amazing guitar solo from Craig Goldie. One More for the Road is really good, and probably Living the Lie, but not a bad album. Is down at number 9, though. And this does actually have maybe the coolest Dio album cover. Some really awesome artwork on a lot of these albums, but this one, really cool. Master of the Moon, number 9.
I'm alright, I'm crossing over, I just shot the sun.
Coming in at number 8 is going to be Killing the Dragon. Came out in 2002. Pretty solid album. It was their only one to feature Doug Aldrich on the guitar. Great player. I have seen some people in the past, though, say that his sound doesn't really fit with Dio. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it sounds pretty dang good. A lot of great riffs, great solos. You got Jimmy Bain on the bass, Simon Wright on the drums. So good lineup. Looking at these tracks, there are 10 of them. Some standouts, I'd say, are Better in the Dark for sure. Easily the best song on the album. One of my absolute favorite Dio songs of all time. Amazing riff, just overall great stuff here. Very classic feel to it. The title track, Along Comes a Spider, and probably Before the Fall are the other standouts to me. So overall, pretty good album here. Killing the Dragon, number 8.
We'll find the sacred heart. It's somewhere bleeding in the night. Look for the light, and you'll find the sacred heart.
Coming in at number 7 is Sacred Heart. Came out in 1985. This was their final album to feature Vivian Campbell on guitar. Claude Schnell does the keyboards. And something I'll say about Dio is that most of the time, the keyboards sound pretty dang good and really cool. Some hard rock and metal bands make the keyboards work. Some hard rock and metal bands, not so much. But this album, it is really good. The rest of these all Pretty freaking solid, so hard to rank. But looking at this track listing, 9 songs, some of the standouts I'd say are the title track, Rock and Roll Children. This album does actually have some pretty cool deep cuts. Fallen Angels, Just Another Day, Like the Beat of a Heart. Really good songs, not that talked about, but, you know, good album here. Sacred Heart, number 7. Next up at number 6 is Strange Highways. Came out in 1993. Really heavy, raw, angry sounding album. Used to be a bit higher on my list, actually. Has dropped a little. Still a great album regardless, though. It was their first with Tracy G on guitar. First with Jeff Pilson on the bass. Vinny Appice came back to do the drums on it. So you got 11 songs here. A lot of good stuff. The opener, Jesus, Mary, and the Holy Ghost, is really awesome. Title track is great. Hollywood Black, Evolution. Here's to You is a really great one. So really good stuff here. Strange Highways, number 6.
You see the faces, you know the traces of the things we want to be, that only we can see.
Taking the number 5 spot is The Last in Line. Came out in 1984. Their second album has a lot of great classic stuff on it. We Rock, the title track, I Speed at Night, Mystery, some of their best, most popular songs. But some pretty cool underrated stuff on here as well. Breathless, Eat Your Heart Out. The final song, Egypt, the Chains Are On, is really amazing. So just overall, really good classic album here. The Last in Line, number 5. Next up at number 4 is Magica. Came out in 2000. Maybe a bit of a surprise to some people since it's kind of a more modern album, but really great stuff here. It's a concept album, very heavy, very dark. Looking at these songs, Lord of the Last Day is really awesome. Great heavy riff. Fever Dreams, Turn to Stone, Feed My Head. A lot of great stuff here. Craig Goldie came back, did the guitar playing. He's a beast. Ronnie sounds amazing as usual, so definitely go listen to this one if you haven't heard it. Magica, number 4. Taking the number 3 spot is Lock Up the Wolves. Came out in 1990. This was their only album to feature Rowan Robertson on guitar. He was like 18 when this album was recorded. Great player. Also their only one with Jens Johansson on the keyboards and Teddy Cook on the bass. Simon Wright does the drumming. Just overall, really strong album here. There's 11 tracks. Looking at these, Wild One is awesome. Hey Angel's great. Between Two Hearts, even though it's a little slower. Fantastic song. Ronnie's voice on that one sounds possibly the best it's ever sounded. That one and the title track, his voice just sounds freaking like an angel. But Why Are They Watching Me? Another great one. Very consistent, strong album. Very tough to rank these top 3 because I love them all. But Lock Up the Wolves, number 3. Next up at number 2 is Dream Evil. Came out in 1987. Freaking awesome album, start to finish. Extremely consistent, like all these songs. Night People and the title track to start off the album. 2 of my favorite Dio songs of all time. Sunset Superman, All the Fools Sailed Away, Naked in the Rain, Over Love, I Could Have Been a Dreamer, Faces in the Window, and When a Woman Cries. So all these songs really good. First album with Craig Goldie on guitar. I love his playing. Great tone, great solos, great riffs. Just overall, fantastic album. Dream Evil, number 2.
Stand up and shout! Shout out! You're the strongest tank, and you're not just some reflection, so never
taking the number 1 spot has got to be Holy Diver. Such a great, classic, iconic album. Very consistent and amazing from start to finish. Looking at these songs, there's 9 of them. A lot of great stuff. Stand Up and Shout to start off the album. One of the best album openers of all time. Title track, Gypsy, Caught in the Middle, Don't Talk to Strangers, Straight Through the Heart, Invisible, Rainbow in the Dark, and Shame on the Night to finish out the album. So, amazing stuff here. Vivian Campbell on the guitar shreds it up all over the album. Ronnie's voice is amazing as usual. Jimmy Bain on the bass is great. And of course, Vinny Appice on the drums is a beast as well. So that does wrap up my ranking of Dio's albums. Holy Diver is my number 1. Such a great discography there. Very tough to rank, but you guys can let me know what you thought. Give me your ranking in the comments. And until next time, thank you for watching.